elders used to say, respect is the rope that ties a people together. Cut that rope and the whole village will scatter like dry leaves in the wind. Now let me tell you the story of Modo, the village that forgot respect and nearly lost everything. A long time ago, across 7 rivers and under the towering Iroko tree, there was a village called Modo. It had no gold, no jewels, no riches, but it carried something greater, a treasure that bound its people together: respect. And when the treasure was forgotten, the village paid a price no gold could redeem. Respect was woven into the fabric of their daily life. Children did not merely bow to their elders. They listened, their eyes wide with the hunger to learn. When an elder entered the room, the young would rise and offer their seat. Neighbors greeted one another, not with hurried nods, but with genuine inquiry. How is your family? And at the village square, when the old men and women spoke, a respectful silence fell, for their words were considered as the cool, deep water drawn from the well of experience. This respect was the strong, unbreakable rope that tied the people of Modo together, making them one large harmonious family. But as the years passed, a strange wind began to blow through Modo. It was a wind of change, but not for the better. The young men who returned from trading in distant cities brought back new ideas and a dismissive attitude towards the old ways. They labeled the village customs as backwards, and children, influenced by their parents' respect for modernity, adopted similar attitude. The rope of respect began to fray and loosen. Children would play and shout while their parents were speaking. A young man named Kene, known for his sharp tongue, began to mock the slow, deliberate walk of the oldest elder, Pa Adebayo, calling him tortoise to his face. Young women will giggle and continue their chatter when Mamuju, the oldest woman in Modo, tried to share a story. The village square, once a place of wisdom, became a noisy arena where the loudest, rudest voice won the argument. The elders, with their hearts heavy, gathered in secret. The children eat but do not offer thanks, one said. They drink from the stream but forgot the source, said another. Pa Adebayo, his voice trembling with sorrow, concluded, a people without respect are like a house without pillars. The roof may look fine, but soon the whole structure will fall. One evening, as the moon hung like a silver jewel in the sky, Mamuju could bear it no longer. She called the entire village to gather under the great Iroko tree. Her back was bent with age, but her eyes burned with fierce light. Her voice, even though it was rough, seemed to boom through the silent night. Listen, my children, to a story, she began. There was a mighty leopard. It was the strongest in the forest, but it grew proud. It stopped respecting the ancient law of the jungle. It hunted not only for food, but for sport, killing the goats and antelopes until there were few left. Then it began to hunt its fellow leopards, thinking itself above them all. Soon, no animal would come near it. It died alone, its strength useless, for it had traded respect for arrogance. She continued, and once a stubborn goat refused to bow its head as it passed through the market, a sign of humility to the spirits of the place. It strutted and kicked, thinking itself a king. It did not see the low-hanging branch, and its head was struck until it lay in pieces. Several elders acknowledged the statement with solemn nods, whereas the younger villagers expressed their disbelief. Kene responded with audible laughter. Old stories for old people. He whispered to his friends, "What do leopards and foolish goats have to do with us? She is just rambling." They saw her words not as wisdom, but as the meaningless rustle of dry leaves. But the truth of Mahmoud's warning revealed itself on the day of the new Yam Festival. The marketplace was an explosion of color, sound, and joy. Drums pounded a rhythm that made the feet dance without permission. Dancers adorned in vibrant raffia and mask leaped like flames themselves. The air was thick with the smell of spiced suya and roasted corn. At the heart of it all, great fires burned for the ceremonial cooking. It was Kene showing off to his friends, who knocked over a large cooking pot. The hot oily contents spilled directly into the central fire. Instantly, a wave of flames erupted, catching on the dry raffia stalls. The fire, fanned by the wind, became a roaring beast, licking at the sky, a smoke, a black curtain choking the air. Panic erupted. Through the chaos, the voices of the elders rose, clear and steady. Pa Adebayo stood on a stool, pointing his walking stick. "Do not run towards the farm. The wind blows the fire that way. Run to the river path. It is clear and safe. The water will protect you." But their wisdom was drowned out by fear and habit. "They are old and slow," Kene cried out, as his earlier confidence gave way to genuine fear. "They don't know anything. Run!" The villagers, forgetting generations of trust, scattered like frightened ants in all directions. They ran into narrow paths that led to dead ends, trampling over precious stores of grains and yam in the panic. Parents tripped, children were separated and wept in confusion. Those few who listened to the elders, mostly the older farmers and their families, hurried down the steep shaded path to the river. They watched in horror from the safety of the bank as their beloved marketplace was consumed. By the time the fire was put out with buckets of river water, the damage was done. The market was ashes. The village's entire harvest stored for the coming season was gone. The granary was empty. That night, the celebration was replaced by a cold, fearful silence. The village faced not just loss, but the grim specter of hunger. Families wept, not just for their burnt possessions, but for their foolishness. Ekene and his friends, their faces covered with soot and tears. found Mamuju sitting quietly by her hut. They did not speak. They fell to their knees, their heads bowed to the earth in the old way, their bodies shaking with silent sobs. They had traded respect for arrogance, and the entire village was paying the price. Mamuju placed a gentle twisted hand on Kene's head. Her voice was soft now, filled not with anger, but with profound sorrow. "You see, my son," she said, "respect is not about bowing to a person. It is about bowing to the truth they carry. It is the rope that ties us together. When we forget it, we are not strong individuals. We are just scattered ashes in the wind, easily blown away." From that day, a significant change swept through Modo. It was not a punishment but a renewal. The villagers, young and old, rebuilt the markets together. Every child was taught not just to kneel in the morning, but to understand why, to acknowledge the source of their food, their safety, and their wisdom. The young men like Kene became the most vocal defenders of the counsels of the elders, for they had learned the cost of ignoring it. Respect returned to Modo, and with it came unity and a deeper strength than they had ever known. And so travelers who passed through Modo marveled at its harmony. They carried the tale far beyond the 7 rivers, and it spread like the seed of the Iroko tree. They would say, "A child who honors the bridge that carried them will never cross a broken river, but a people who cut the rope of respect will surely fall." For the bridge is the wisdom of parents and elders, the same wisdom that carried yesterday safely into today. The child who bows to that wisdom will always find safe passage across life's rivers, but those who mock it, like the villagers of old, will stumble, for even the smallest stream will become too wide to cross. And the elders of Modo ended their tale with these words: "Respect is the bridge between yesterday and tomorrow. Honor it, and you will always stand. Break it, and you will be swept away." The moral of the story: respect for elders and one another is not a sign of weakness, but the bedrock of strength. It is the wisdom to value experience and the glue that binds a family and community together in peace and order. What about you? Do you think today's children still honor the bridge of respect? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more African folk tales with lessons that guide us even today.